individuals in the country have tested positive for coronavirus today, including a male from Kathmandu's Chandragiri and a girl from Kapilvastu, taking the national tally of infection to 245. Meanwhile, the global COVID-19 death toll has exceeded 298,000, with more than 4.42 million people infected. More than 1.65 million worldwide have recovered from the virus so far. Good morning, I'm Amit Mackerel, and these are the top stories this hour. Number of coronavirus cases in Nepal climbs to 245 as two more individuals test positive for the virus today. A male from Kathmandu and a girl from Kapilvastu detected with the virus. All-party meeting concludes the government should hold a high-level meeting with India regarding encroachment of Nepalese territory in Lipu Lake at the earliest. Nepalese security forces finally present near Kalapani, where India encroached Nepalese territory, a security post established in Changru of Tarsula district. And the World Health Organization warns that the novel coronavirus may never go away, says controlling the virus would require a huge effort even if vaccine is found. The all-party meeting held at the Prime Minister's official residence in Balwatar yesterday evening concluded that the government should hold a high-level meeting with India regarding encroachment at the Nepalese territory in Lipu Lake at the earliest. Leaders of the all-party meeting have expressed commitment for solidarity against India's land encroachment. An all-party meeting was called by Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli yesterday evening to discuss on the recent developments of border encroachment by India. Leaders of the ruling and opposition parties and former prime ministers in attendance all voiced a common opinion that Nepal cannot remain silent regarding the border encroachment issue any longer. In response to Nepal's diplomatic note, the Indian government has responded, saying that the issue could be dealt with after the coronavirus pandemic ends. However, Nepalese leaders have opined addressing the issue can no longer be postponed. The all-party meeting has also concluded that it was unfair of the Indian government to delay a dialogue citing the pandemic, while going ahead with the construction during the same time. On November last year, the Indian government had released a new political map including 400 square kilometers of Nepal's region in Lipu Lake, Kalapani and Limpiadhura as its own. The same map has now been used to encroach and construct the road link to Mansarovar Tibet through Nepal's Lipu Lake region. The Nepal government has expressed its disagreement and issued diplomatic notes as well. Leaders have opined that the government should take stronger initiative to end the encroachment and have assured a full support to the government. The all-party meeting was attended by representatives from all the political parties at the federal parliament and former prime ministers. On a different note, the president of main opposition Nepali Congress urged the premier to amend the controversial Millennium Challenge Corporation MCC agreement with the US. Several leaders also suggested the government to release the accurate map of Nepal that proves the encroached land in Lipu Lake and it is in Nepalese territory. Likewise, a few leaders also emphasized on the need to have a common view for foreign policies. The government has deployed a security team at border points in Tarsula districts, Lipu Lake and Limpiadhura regions. Following the Indian government's decision to construct and inaugurate a road link to Mansarovar Tibet through Lipu Lake in Nepal, the government decided to establish a security post in the region and has deployed a security team accordingly. A security post was established in a rented home in Changru and Biaspural municipality of Tarsula district yesterday. A team of 25 armed police force personnel under the leadership of an inspector has been deployed in the region. The Lipu Lake region that India has encroached to construct the road link to Tibet is about 8 kilometers away from Changru. India has encroached about 400 square kilometers of Nepalese land in the Kalapani, Lipu Lake and Limpiadhura regions. India had inaugurated the 22 kilometers long road link last Friday. The number of coronavirus cases in Nepal has climbed to 245 as two more individuals tested positive for the virus today. In the PCR test conducted at the capital's National Public Health Laboratory, 32-year-old male from Kathmandu's Chandragiri and 6-year-old girl from Kapilvastu district tested positive for the virus today. Earlier this morning, the Ministry of Health issued a notice claiming that 7 more individuals were detected with the virus. The ministry, however, issued Another notice later this morning, citing the earlier notice, was an error and maintained that only 2 more individuals have been detected with the virus so far in the country today. Meanwhile, 26 people tested positive for COVID-19 in the country yesterday. Meanwhile, 83 individuals had tested positive on 12th of May, including 57 individuals from Parsa district alone and 3 from Kathmandu Valley. This was the highest single-day spike in the novel coronavirus infections recorded in the country so far. The Health Ministry has said preparations are underway to expedite tests as the number of infections had been rising in recent times. 35 of the total infected individuals have fully recovered from the virus. Likewise, the health reports of the infected individuals staying in isolation have been reported normal. The government has tightened the lockdown measures with the frequent increase in coronavirus cases in the country recently. The police have beefed up security checks at the transits entering Kathmandu Valley and also have tightened checks on pedestrians. The vehicles flying without the government provided passes have been taken into custody. The Home Ministry had already cancelled the vehicle passes to travel across districts earlier. Welcome back after the break. The government has decided to provide relief packages to suppliers instead of farmers. Farmers are suffering losses as they have not been able to take their vegetables and milk to the markets due to the ongoing lockdown. At this difficult time, damages have also been caused to their wheat and potato cultivation by hailstorm. The farmers are also suffering from the scarcity of seeds and fertilizers. The farmers have been demanding for their loan interest to be relieved, compensation for the damages of the agricultural products, as well as necessary seeds to be supplied. The Ministry of Agriculture has sent a proposal to the Council of Ministers 2 weeks earlier regarding relief packages for the farmers facing problems due to the lockdown. However, the Cabinet decided to provide grants worth 25% of the investment to the suppliers instead of providing relief packages to the suffering farmers. According to a government official, the government decided to provide grant to the suppliers so that they would be able to take the farmers' produce to the markets. The Agriculture Ministry had proposed for relief on loan interest for large-scale farmers and compensation for damages for small-scale farmers, as well as provision of insurance for the farmers. Although the proposal was handed to the Finance Ministry, it was returned, citing it would be addressed at the budget session. However, Cabinet decided to provide compensation worth 25% of the investment to the suppliers who have close ties with those in power. If the lockdown continues for a long period of time, there will be risk of famine as the import of food would be difficult or would be very expensive. That is why the farmers need to be encouraged to increase food production in the country itself. Industrial production and vehicular movements have significantly dropped due to the lockdown measures imposed by many countries around the world. While there are economic impacts of the lockdown, the positive aspect of lower carbon dioxide emissions has been seen in the ozone layer. Scientists say around 1 million square kilometers of depleted ozone layers have recovered.
The ozone layer is one among 7 layers in the Earth's atmosphere. The layer comprises of chlorofluorocarbons, or the CFCs, that work to shield the Earth from 97% of harmful rays emitted by the Sun, which makes it a crucial part of the atmosphere. However, due to emission of greenhouse gases from the consumption of fuel and industrial activities, the ozone layer depletion was rampant. Various reports suggested that more than 1 million square kilometers of the ozone layer above the Antarctica had been depleted due to pollution. The first ozone layer depletion was recorded in 1970. Rapid industrialization, modern infrastructure, and use of machineries had raised the level of pollutants, further degrading the layer. However, as majority of industrial activities are at a complete halt and vehicular movements have gone down around the world, scientists say environment pollution has dropped to almost nil in the past 2 months and the ozone layer is recovering. Meanwhile, some scientists have also attributed polar cycle as a possible reason, apart from the lockdown, behind the ozone layer recovery and called it a regular process.
It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, what's your take on the government's decision to provide relief packages to suppliers instead of farmers? And options are A, not understanding farmers' plight, B, high-handedness of those with access to power, and C, immature decision. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. It's time now for our special segment, Glorious History.
Popularly known as Lady with the Lamp, Florence Nightingale, who founded training nursing as a profession for women, was born in Florence, Italy on 12 May 1820. Nightingale came to prominence while serving as a manager and trainer of nurses during the Crimean War, in which she organized care for wounded soldiers. Nightingale gave nursing a favorable reputation and became an icon of the Victorian culture. In 1860, Nightingale laid the foundation of professional nursing with the establishment of her nursing school at St. Thomas' Hospital in London. It is the first secular nursing school in the world and is now part of King's College, London. In recognition of her contributions, the Nightingale Pledge, taken by new nurses, and the Florence Nightingale Medal, the highest international distinction a nurse can achieve, were named in her honor. The annual International Nurses' Day is also celebrated on her birthday. Many of her achievements include improving healthcare for all sections of British society, advocating better hunger relief in India, helping to abolish prostitution laws unfair for women, and expanding the acceptable forms of female participation in the workforce. Nightingale was also a statistician and was a prodigious and versatile writer. She was also a pioneer in data visualization with the use of infographics, effectively using graphical presentation of statistical data. Many of her writing, including her extensive work on religion and mysticism, were only published posthumously. Nightingale died peacefully on 13th of August 1910 at the age of 90 in London. A memorial monument to Nightingale was created in Carrara marble by Francis William Sargent in 1913 and placed in the cloister of the Basilica of Santa Croce in Florence, Italy. Conjoined twins Chang and Eng, who gained worldwide fame in the 19th century, were born in Meklong, Siam on 11th of May 1811. Their fame propelled the expression of Siamese twins to become synonymous for conjoined twins in general. The brothers were born with Chinese ancestry in today's Thailand and were brought to the United States in 1829. The two brothers toured and appeared in exhibitions displaying their athleticism and earned both recognition and financial success. In 1839, the twins quit touring and settled near Mount Airy, North Carolina. Eng died hours after Chang at the age of 62. An autopsy revealed that their livers were fused in the ligament connecting their sternums. This is Sarah Sapsanama for Glorious History and Kantipur News Desk.
It's time now for the weather update. And that's all for this hour. Keep watching Kantipur Television SD for more news and entertainment. Have a good day.